Here we are again. It's weather for Weather Geeks time. It's Tuesday evening, 26th day of February 2019. Only a couple of days left in February, left in meteorological winter. So it's the time of the year where we start doing a lot of looking at numbers and seeing how the winter has gone, seeing how the month has gone now that we're nearing the end of the month. And today was one of the coldest days of February this year, with a high of just 25 this afternoon, matching the 9th and a little warmer than it was on the first day of the month. But other than that, we haven't had too many days here in February that were as cold as today. Now, we're 4.1 degrees warmer than average for February, but it's still been much cooler than the last two Februaries by a pretty wide margin. And that just goes to show you how extremely mild February has been in the last few years. 2017 and 2018, two of the warmest Februaries on record. This month will not go into the record books as a top 5 warm February, but it's still going to be warmer than average by a fairly significant margin. We'll probably finish right around 4 to 4.5 degrees warmer than average for February. So it's also been a pretty wet period, and I went back and looked at the record books going back to the start of meteorological fall on September 1st. And for the fall-winter combo, we're at 25.73 inches. We're not going to catch up to 2011-2012, but we'll finish in second place on the wettest autumn-winter combo on record here in Youngstown. And notice how many of these are recent years since the turn of the century. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 have all occurred since the turn of the century, and this goes along with precipitation trends year-wide. I've shown you on this video many times some yearly precipitation numbers, and it's been much, much wetter over the last 20 years. Some of it probably chance, but what I suspect is a fair amount of it due to the changing global climate. We're not alone in seeing wetter times over the last 20 years. Many, many places are seeing more frequent precipitation and more frequent heavy precipitation than we did some time ago. So each and every month from September through February has been wetter than average. September was the wettest September on record. October, November, December, January were above average, but not real significantly so. February has been pretty wet, though. We're at 1.71 inches above average for total precipitation. That counts any liquid precipitation plus melted down snow. Real quickly, wanted to show you this very strange jet stream across Europe today produced a 70-degree reading in London, England. The first 70-degree reading, I think, in the entire UK on record in the month of February, any date in February. An extreme ridge of high pressure overhead. This is the kind of ridge that produced mid-70s around here last February and the February before. And, I talked a moment ago about climate change, and I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on that, but extreme fluctuations in the jet stream, more intense ridges, more intense troughs, all part of the story with a changing climate. There's plenty of evidence at this point to suggest that the decrease in sea ice over the Arctic regions is doing weird things to the jet stream, making it more volatile. And so you see extremes on both the cold side and the warm side as well, and parts of the UK seeing that today. 70 degrees this afternoon in London, England. You think 70 is rare around here in February? It's unbelievably rare over in the UK, where they tend to have fewer temperature swings as a result of their proximity to the chilly eastern Atlantic Ocean. All right, back here in the U.S. Temperature-wise this evening, nothing to write home about across a lot of the lower 48, although it's certainly colder than average across parts of the upper Midwest, into the northern plains, into the northern Rockies as well. It's also turning pretty wet once again along the west coast. You may have seen, on some national weather stories, including maybe on the nightly news, something called an atmospheric river, bringing more heavy rain and mountain snow to California. An atmospheric river is basically a plume of moisture that is a long fetch going across the Pacific Ocean. And they've seen a lot of these lately in parts of the West, including around San Francisco and down towards Los Angeles as well. The drought in California, which was remarkably intense, has pretty much been wiped out by all of the precipitation they've had over the last several weeks. All right, back here at home. There can be a touch of snow tomorrow morning before daybreak, largely up towards I-90. Now, a little bit of this will try to sneak down to maybe Kinsman, maybe Sharon, Greenville, Cortland, Warren, maybe. Even if it does so, I think it's fairly non-impactful. Now, if you happen to be doing some traveling tomorrow morning early, up 11 towards 90, and then across towards the Erie area, it can be a little more impactful over there. Parts of northwestern PA and southwestern New York will probably see at least a few inches out of this. We will be spared that here. Just a lot of clouds around for your Wednesday. Now, we'll be in this kind of close proximity to this warm front, so the temperature forecast for Wednesday is tricky. Wouldn't be surprised if, say, East Liverpool got to 45 or 46, maybe even 47, while a place like Kinsman or Greenville stops at 36. There could be like a pretty good 10-degree spread across our area for high temperatures tomorrow. Late in the day, as this low pushes across, maybe there's a couple of rain showers around, a few wet snowflakes might mix in. Again, largely non-impactful stuff. And then a pretty benign end to the work week, end to February Thursday. And March will start out on a pretty nice note, I think, on Friday. I think we'll see some sun. I think temperatures will get above average into the mid-40s as we wrap up the week. All right, this pattern is going to be remarkably cold by March standards across the upper Midwest, the Great Plains states. Now, it's going to be colder than average here, but it's going to be extreme cold, record-setting cold in parts of the Dakotas, into Montana, Wyoming. Look at some of these numbers. I'll zoom in a little bit here. These are low temperatures Sunday morning, 20, 25, 28 below in Montana. That's, pretty cold for the middle of winter. Nothing unusual, but pretty cold for the middle of winter. This is intense stuff for early March. Now, as we go towards the middle of next week, the cold will continue. I've still got my map zoomed in on areas well to our west, but even back here at home, I mean, we'll have lows in the single digits and teens for a few nights next week, and places such as Chicago and Minneapolis and Green Bay could be well below zero at times during early next week. Our high temperature forecast looks like this. Again, Friday's a nice day. Saturday's our last mild day for a while, and then boom, the Arctic hammer drops. High temperature's not much better than 20 a week from today, and again, lows will be down in the single digits. So way below average from Sunday, probably through the end of next week, with the cold probably peaking right around early to midweek, as much as 20 degrees colder than average. Our averages in early March, it's not the dead of winter anymore. Our averages are about 41, 42 by that point. So it's about 10 degrees warmer than our average highs in the dead of winter. So yeah, we've got some pretty, whoops, let me get the black off your screen there. There we go. We've got some pretty intense cold coming our way early March. I still think there'll be a pretty good pattern change towards around the 10th of March, and mid-March does not look nearly as cold. So hang in there. Early March is going to resemble the middle of winter, but I don't think it's going to last like the whole month or anything. I suspect we'll get back into a milder pattern right around the 10th, and it may continue for quite some time. All right, that's it for tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks as always for watching, and you'll see me back here with another version of this video tomorrow evening, same time, same place.